Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this, we're going to be learning about the unit circle and the radian measure. This is chapter number 8 from additional mathematics. Okay, so let's begin with the radian measure. There's a definition over here, but it's not really important to know. You just need to know what a radian is, and that's fine. You don't have to really know the definition, but I'll read it out. It's the angle subtended at the center by an arc of length 1 unit in a unit circle is said to have a measure of 1 radian. I mean, you can memorize it, but it's not that important. It just says that. I mean, I'll show you what it actually means. Okay, so if this is a circle, it's gonna have a radius, let's say 1 unit, and then the arc length, the length of the arc will also be 1 unit. When this is the case, then there'll be some angle here. And the angle subtended over here would be 1 radian. So this is the definition of 1 radian. If you visualize it, it's much easier to remember the definition. Now that we know what 1 radian is, we're going to move on. So the symbol used to denote the radian measure is either rad or the small c, this one. So we can either use this or this. Okay, so now let's move on. So pi radians equals to 100 degrees. So that's the conversion. I mean, that's the conversion factor. So if we want to convert from degrees to radians, we're supposed to multiply by pi divided by 180. And if we're converting from radians to degrees, it's going to be, we're going to multiply it by 180 by pi. Okay, this is pretty simple. Let's move on to a few questions. So this is extremely important, and so is this. If the concept is clear, let's move on to a few questions. So we're supposed to convert degrees into radians. So let's work this out. Have your calculators with you. So yeah. So if we want to convert from degrees to radians, we have to multiply by pi and divide by 180. So let's do the first one. So 90 into pi divided by 180. This would be pi by 2 radians. This is our answer for the first question. The second one, so that would be 30 into pi by 180. That's gonna be pi by 6 radians. This is our second answer. And the third one, so 135 into pi by 180. So let me see how much that is. That's 3 by 4 pi radians. So these are the answers. So let's verify whether that's right. Pi by 2, pi by 6, and 3 pi by 4. Now that the first question is over, let's solve the second one. So we have to convert the following radian measures to degrees. Okay, so in order to convert from radians to degree, we have to multiply by this factor. Okay, so let's solve the first one. So 7 by 9 pi into 180 by pi. The pi and pi get cancelled. Then 9, this will be 20. Yeah, 20. So that will be 140 degrees. So this is our first answer. And then 3 by 5 pi into 180 by pi. The pi gets cancelled. And then this will be 36. And that's 90 plus 18. So that's 108 degrees. Second answer. And now let's solve the last one. So pi by 10 into 180 by pi. The pi and pi gets cancelled and we're left with 18 degrees. So let's see if the answer is correct. 140, 108 and 18. Now take a couple of minutes to solve the next one. So you have to convert the following angles, which are in degrees, you have to convert them into radians. So take a few minutes and I will reveal the answers. Okay, so if you're finished, I will reveal the answers. If not, pause the video right now and try to solve this. So these are the answers. Pi by 4, pi by 2, 3 pi by 4, pi, 5 pi by 4, 3 pi by 2, 7 pi by 4, and 2 pi. This isn't really part of the syllabus, but it will be really important to know. So first, let's look at the radius. So it's the line segment that connects the center of the circle to any point on the circumference. The circumference would be this. So it's a line segment that connects the center of a circle and a point on the circumference. Next is a sector. So it's the portion of a circular region enclosed by two radii, 1 and 2, and the corresponding arc. So that's what a sector means. That means that it consists of two radii and the arc. So this would be a sector. And then there's something called as the minor sector and the major sector. A sector is a minor sector if it involves less than half of the circle. So this would be considered as a minor sector, and this would be the major sector. So yeah. And then the major sector involves more than half of the circle. So this is the major sector and this is the minor sector. Next, we're going to look at a chord. We're looking at this because in order to understand what a segment is, we first need to know what a chord is. So it's a segment with endpoints on the circle. So it has 1 and 2 endpoints. And yeah, so it's just a segment with endpoints on the circle. So this is a chord. And now let's move on to what a segment is. So by definition, it is a region bounded by a chord. So this would be the chord and a corresponding arc lying between the chord's endpoint. It's somewhat similar to a sector and radius. So the relationship between a radius and a sector is very similar to the one of the chord and the segment. So yeah, so how the way these two are related, these two are also related in the same way. And then we all know that the diameter is either twice the radius, or it like connects the two endpoints and meets the center of the circle. So that's what the diameter means. And now let's move on to what an arc is. So, so it's the portion of the edge of the circle defined by two endpoints. So yeah, two endpoints, and yeah. And then similar to how we have a major sector and a minor sector, we also have something called as a minor arc and something called as the major arc. So if the arc measures less than 180 degrees, then it's a minor arc. But if the angle is greater than 180, that means it's the major arc. So this would be the minor arc, and this would be the no, this would be the minor, and this would be the major arc. Okay, and the circumference is the outer part of the circle. Yeah, and finally we come to tangents. So it's a line that intersects the circle at exactly one point. So over here it cuts the circle at exactly one point. So, and then this forms 180 degrees. I mean, this forms 90 degrees. I'll show you 1 second. Okay, so a tangent will form a right angle here. When you connect the point that it intersects the circle at to the center of the circle, you can form a right angle. So this is a very important point to know. It will come up frequently.